Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, and we are starting a very exciting build today. And we're going to keep this build exclusive to this YouTube channel. So usually we post things on the allscaletrek.com forums and here, but this build is going to be just here for you guys on YouTube. So please subscribe if you want to follow along to this build. Now, I was actually a little surprised that so many people were really excited about this ship more so than the Discovery. But you know, it makes sense. Season 2 of Discovery was great. Anson Mount was great as Christopher Pike. And the Enterprise really kind of stole the show in a lot of ways. People really liked this updated version of the Enterprise. Now, I like all iterations of Trek. I like the most recent movies. But a lot of people, and probably myself included, feel this is a great update that's a little more faithful to the original TOS Enterprise. So let's start looking at this. So starting off, we have some great artwork. We've got Michael Burnham up here on the corner as she is kind of our series lead for Star Trek Discovery. But some great pictures at the Enterprise, and it really is a great looking ship. So here we have another great piece of art showing the ship, and we have a quote. This time we do get a quote from Christopher Pike, kind of about the missions of Starfleet, and really just wonderful artwork on that ship. Coming around the box, great shots of the Enterprise. Call out a few features here. The mini base that they've been including in all the Discovery kits. And of course, the great decals that they've been including on all the Discovery ships. Here's the back side of that box. So you can see, kind of calls out a few more things. USS Enterprise, NCC 1701, 29 parts, molded in color, full color paint and decal guide. And you can see there it says nearly 12 inches long, 301 millimeters. All right, I'm sorry guys, it is not that size. If we take a look at our Discovery box, you can see here, nearly 12 inches long, 301 millimeters. That got copied to this by mistake. It is not that big. All right, along that inner box, we also have our paint guides, gunmetal, just like the Shenzhou, gold, of course, clear blue, clear red, and white. Typical Star Trek colors, which is wonderful. It's going to fit in very well with your fleets. Lots of decals, so lots of information on those placement guides. And of course, full color renderings to kind of give you an idea of how your ship should look. All right. Right now, first up, we have decal sheets. We get two very nice decal sheets. Now, somebody started asking for this back when the Discovery came out. People really did not like the white backgrounds on the decals. And I don't know if Round 2 had planned this already or if they were really listening to people's comments. But this one they did do in blue. Makes it much easier to kind of see kind of some of those white windows. To see where the decals kind of begin and end. And that really should help a lot of people. Now, this is something people asked for when the Shenzhou came out. They have the name and registry separate from the panel decals. So you can, if you choose not to do the Aztec paneling, you'll still have decals you can use on the name and registry. Or people who make custom decals can quite easily put other ships' names and numbers on them. But like all the Discovery kits, fantastic details. Now, anything you see there that's blue is going to be transparent. So your base color really will shine through on here. These are the main engineering hull decals. You can kind of see little bits of the strong back type decals there. So yeah, your base color will really do a lot of the heavy lifting on this job. Of course, since you can't really mold in windows that small, you've got your windows represented on the decals. Look, even the little aft ends of the nacelles are represented here. I haven't matched everything up yet, but I also believe that on this one, this is something I really wanted on the Shenzhou. I believe that's probably going to be our deflector dish. If that's a deflector dish, I'll be very happy because it's very hard to paint any details on something kind of that small. So great job on the decals, and if they turn out the way the other Discovery ships have been, it's going to go great. So let's look at the plastic. First up, on our first sprue, we have the saucer section. Slit for a clear part right in the front there. Kind of minimal molded detail. Most of it will be done with the decals, but we do have a couple phaser bumps, a few molded windows. Those might be the first molded windows I've seen on any of these Discovery kits. Some molded windows around that lower saucer bay. Oh, no, sorry, those are phaser bumps. Now that, okay, if you're a TOS fan, you might remember you'd always see photon torpedoes kind of shot out of nowhere on the saucer section. I think they finally gave us little photon tubes on the saucer. Of course, these little triangles are throwbacks to the original TOS Enterprise. Those were supposedly landing gear. You also have a little shuttle bay doors with a little landing pad right in front of it. You've got your deflector. Just a couple little detail parts there. There's the housing behind the deflector. The next sprue has your engineering hull done in two halves, the neck firmly attached to it. You have your nacelle pylons, and of course the nacelles themselves. Lots of good detail on those. It's going to be a good looking ship. I love kind of the details here. Of course, you get a dome base to match the rest of the ones in the set. And you get a set of clear parts. So you get some long parts to go inside the nacelles. You get some clear parts for the back end caps on the nacelles. This should be the lower dome on the saucer, the planetary sensor array. This clear part is for the impulse engines on the back of the saucer. And of course the end caps on the front of the nacelle are done in clear. Now this part is for the top saucer. Kind of a big light pipe to light that front window, two windows on the side of the bridge window, and the top dome. So all of those kind of connected together. So, you know, this would be a very fun ship to see lit up. You can kind of see that clear part we just looked at would give you light on all of these parts and shine light over on that front registry. That impulse piece would fit in right here, and you could have kind of two big red impulse engines kind of facing backwards. The nacelles would look great. You could have that clear part in back, shining backwards on things. Light this up with nice big blue LEDs, red LEDs facing forward. And there's room to do that in the nacelles. The problem, and this is probably what will keep me from lighting this, is you've got really long, solid pylons. I think it'd be fairly difficult to get wires down these pylons. So I think it could be done. Probably not something to do on a preview build like this. I'll probably get a second one that I'll try and kind of modify and see if I can get some wires through there. But yeah, you know, this will look gorgeous if you can get wires through those and light up those wonderful parts on the nacelles. Okay guys, we know we saw in the box that supposedly they listed it as 12 inches, and I've seen that kind of passed around on a few forums. It is not a 12-inch ship, and I've got my 12-inch ruler right here so we can look at it. But if we were to start off with our saucer, lay that right around the very front of the ruler. And take our nacelles. Nacelles, they're not going to be back here where they would need to be to make it 12 inches. On the Enterprise, the nacelles really come in right behind the saucer, just a little bit of a gap there. So we're going to be a lot closer to 7 inches, 7.5 inches. It is not going to be a foot long. But let's take a look at it next to the other Discovery ships and kind of see how big it will be. So here's the other two kits in the series that have come out so far. We've got the Discovery, we've got the Shenzhou, and our saucer for the Enterprise can be just maybe a tiny bit smaller than the Discoveries and a little bit bigger than the Shenzhous. You can see that there. Yeah, bigger than the Shenzhou, smaller than Discovery. But if you can kind of picture it there, it's going to look right in line with those. As far as the nacelles, as you can see, we're going to be considerably shorter, a little bit thicker. About the same size as the Shenzhou, a little bit shorter but just as thick. All in all, it's going to look great next to these two ships. It's going to be a very nice uniform display to have all three of these ships together. You know, I really do have to commend Round 2 for getting us all three of these kits so quickly. I was not expecting the Enterprise to come out so soon. You know, these two ships were from the premiere of Star Trek Discovery, so we know they had time to do them. The Enterprise came out at the very end of Season 1, was featured heavily in Season 2, so I was expecting this one to come a little bit later. So the fact that they pumped out all three of these ships in just a few months for us has really been great. The other thing I really like as far as continuity is, sure, the Discovery is kind of this brass and gold color, but the Shenzhou and the Enterprise are going to be the same color. Hopefully you can see that without it being in the shadows. But the Enterprise is molded in the same color that the Shenzhou was. And these are molded in color, so if you do a base paint, you should try and stay in line with that color for the decals really to look good. So your Enterprise and your Shenzhou should really match fairly well in the base color. Let the different colored Aztec decals kind of separate them and make them look a little bit different. But we're going to have a great continuity between these three ships as a complete set. So big thank you to Round 2 for getting us three ships that are going to look great together. They're going to be in scale. And I think we all have our fingers crossed that they'll get a few of these ships done in a bigger size for us. But those of you who get all three ships, you're going to have a great looking display. So there you have it. You've got your first look at the USS Enterprise from Discovery, the third and final ship for their 1/2500th line of Discovery ships. And next up, we're going to start building the ship, seeing how it fits together, seeing how good those decals look on it. And that build is going to be entirely here on YouTube. So once again, like this video, subscribe to the channel to follow the build. Leave any comments down below. Let us know what you think of the ship. If you have any ideas how I can possibly light this, get wires through those pylons, let me know down below. And thank you guys very, very much for watching and following our builds.